going on? What is going on? We are back, Black in the building. Melanated and highly favored. Shout out to everybody out there handling business at the Court Plantation. I know where you at. Niggas always trying to front. Shout out to everybody out there. Nigga trying to tell me, man, how long? Man, I don't see how you do it. Well, nigga, the nigga gonna tell me that the Court Plantation, man, I don't see how you done it this long. Well, nigga, you gotta eat. You gotta eat, don't you? You gotta pay bills, don't you? You gonna do it somewhere, unless you're an entrepreneur. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, unless you are an entrepreneur and you're your own business owner, nigga, then you might as well gather around and take part in this corporate plantation vibe that you about to get, nigga. And then the nigga stop saying the shit, nigga. Fuck out of here, nigga. Shout out to everybody out there that's handling business. Man, shout out to all my people at the Court Plantation right now. Take a look at your left and your right. And as you look to your left and your right, you are going to see things at the Court Plantation that might even bother you, might interest you, might even have you looking a certain type of way. But that is not your job to even question anyone else. Your job is to question everything that's being presented to you like it's something that's good for you. Because what is good to you may not be necessarily good for you. And a lot of the things that we go through in this system of racism and white supremacy, we have a tendency to think that people are there to help us, when really, they're not there to help us. They're there to sow discord, get you off your game, get you befuddled, get you emotional, so you can become a person that is uncomfortable. Then you lose your composure. And then once you lose your composure, you already know it's a wrap. So shout out to everybody that's keeping their composure at the Court Plantation. I know it's a nigga right now want to slap the shit out of a European at that goddamn Court Plantation, asking these simple Simon-ass, sucker-ass questions. Like, I just don't understand why they're still talking about race. Like, we had a black president. Like, come on, Tyrone. Like, Jesus. Like, what's the big deal, man? Like, I got a bunch of black friends, and we're, like, cool, and they don't even care about racism. They tell me that racism doesn't exist. That's because they're a Sambo coon, telling about the gun line, Haywood Shepherd, Steven from Django ass nigga. That's why they tell you that racism don't exist shit. Oh, if I don't think about it, no, nigga. Well, tell me that. Tell Harriet Tubman that when they was going hoops upside niggas' heads in the antebellum period. Tell the motherfuckers in this book called The Pound of Flesh. I don't like to show these books until I'm done reading them, but I'm reading a book right now called The Pound of Flesh, and they were talking about the I forgot what the name of the plantation is, and that plantation was like one of the main plantations that was doing statistical reports on how much money they were making on the slaves and all the thing. It was called the Cane. I'm about to look it up right now. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta look this up. Hold on, y'all, real quick. The Cane Break Plantation. That's what I was reading. And the Cane Break Plantation basically had all these statistics and stats on how much money they get for a fucking slave, and how much a slave gets if they don't have child, and what the probability is if they don't have children, and how well they can be. So look, man, it's about researching and understanding what you're researching and looking at it from a different perspective of like, damn, that's crazy. Because I'm gonna tell you, you are a movement by yourself, but we are a force when we're together. So you need to understand that, and there is no such thing as not being on code. We have to establish a code. So we're gonna talk about all that today. We're gonna talk about mental health, and we're going to talk about the Colorado shooter, and we're gonna talk about how now that it's a white person who did this shooting, they don't want to talk about it no more. You know, and we're gonna talk about how all of a sudden it's a mental illness. Let me go out there. Well, then O.J. Simpson must have had a mental illness since y'all said he did it. Stop with the bullshit. Let me go out there and go shoot him up, bang some bullshit, and say, oh, I sick, I got a mental illness. Stop. They gonna be like, guilty, nigga. but he's been seeing a psychiatrist for 20 years. That's bullshit. He's a nigger. He's not seeing a psychiatrist. That's nigger babble. Guilty nigga. But since it's a Caucasian, then you can definitely say, oh, mental illness. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that shit. Stop with the bullshit. Stop with the games. And what's so funny about this situation is we still don't understand what is going on. We don't understand what's going on. We think racism doesn't exist. We for some sort of reason, we have this blue pill smoothie on our mind. I don't. It's a lot more ciphers in the world. So we're gonna get into all that. We're gonna talk about even that bill that just passed in Georgia. I'm not gonna really get too much into Georgia, but I saw Stacey Abrams trying to make. Listen, first of all, Pine Sol lady, they don't give a fuck. They used you to corral them votes. Your services is no longer needed. So you can talk all you want. They don't give a fuck about you. You a nigga bitch to them. And I'm gonna tell you right now, they looking at you like, sit this Pine Sol lady down. Fuck out of here. So we're gonna get into that too. And we're gonna all bring it back full circle on how it relates to you in your everyday life, especially at the Court Plantation. Let's get it. Hey. Man. I'm telling y'all right now, man. Y'all niggas need to start paying attention, read, research, do the things for yourself. It's so funny. That's why I didn't really want to talk about that shooting too much. I wanted to talk about it a little bit, but I didn't want to talk about it too much because I wanted to see what they was going to say. Mental illness now. So now a nigga can go out there and just get to dumping on motherfuckers and be like, oh, I sick. I got mental illness. My mommy said that bullshit from Martin. Motherfucker get it to do the pocket knife, that bullshit to get out of going to just stop. Let me tell you what, this is my perspective. I think they threw the mental illness shit out there because they was hoping it was a nigga. That was what I think. Oh, it's a nigger. All these niggers just shooting and killing and they're just so volatile and we gotta just lock all these niggers up. They're just doing too much. These nigger. No, he had to be a nigger. No, he's really, no, it's a white guy. Well, a nigger told him to do it. A nigger had to tell him to do it. That's exactly what they think. Well, a nigger didn't tell him to do it. Well, then he's mentally ill because there's no way he would go off code and shoot a whole bunch of white people. That's exactly what they think. Go read the book Slavery by Another Name. In this book, Slavery by Another Name. Oh my God. Some of these slave masters, right? They would feel so bad. I've talked about this over and over again. They would feel so bad on how they treated the slaves. You know, after then raped, treating them like shit, beat them into submission. So they would feel bad and they would have a lot of kids with these slaves, so they would leave the property to the slaves. Well, white people got together and was like, wait, hold on. Wait, my pa ain't leave this to me. He left it to the niggers. Oh, no, I'm going to go get a magistrate, basically a judge. Well, my pa must have a mental illness because there ain't no way that he left our property to these niggas. And basically they was like, well, he's got a mental illness. The slave master has a mental illness because there ain't no way he would leave his property to a bunch of niggas. You guys are niggers and you guys don't get property. And that's exactly what they did. And they took the property back from the slaves and gave it back to the white folk. Look, there ain't nothing you can't tell me about these wickedly brilliant people that push and support and stand by this system. They know the system of racism, white supremacy is global. They know what the fuck it does. They just play dumb around niggas and play victim and go into victim mode real quick because they don't want motherfuckers, because now if you are even attached to anti-black racism, a motherfucker is in a cancel culture right now. So they don't want to lose their bread, their sponsorship and all that. So that's what they get to explain it and know. That's why Sharon Osbourne first, she tried to play victim. Then when they was like, bitch, you can't play victim here. We throwing your ass out there. Then that bitch said, all right, then give me my motherfucking money then. Somebody owe me some money since I'm on this goddamn show. And fuck you, Sharon Underwood. You a nigga bitch, and I ain't like you anyway. And fuck the rest of you bitches that's agreeing with this nigga bitch. I'm white, and guess what? So is the queen, and so is everybody else, and Piers Morgan. And fuck that nigga bitch that was in the Royal Palace, and that's what she get. That's what she really wanted to say. I'm just giving you the thorough translation of what Sharon Osbourne really wanted to say. Excuse me. But yeah, man, let me tell you something, man. I was like, man, that is crazy than a motherfucker that they have flipped that into mental illness. Let me tell you something. So Why did they say that brother that did that shooting in Colorado? Here, I'm gonna look him up. I'm damn for sure gonna look him up. It was a brother that did a shooting in Wisconsin. The Coors, I think it was the Coors shooting. Let me see. The Molson Coors shooting. Yeah, let me see. Cause you know they're gonna have pictures and images of that. Yeah, it was a brother. I think his name was Anthony Farrell. Yeah, they got pictures of him everywhere. Yep. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm looking up exactly what the news reports say. I'm looking up exactly what the news reports say, and I'm going to play. If I can find some audio footage, I'm gonna play it and see what they say compared to what they talking about the other brother. Because they talking about this white boy got a mental illness. He went up there and shot up all them people. But the brother was getting harassed racially, being racially profiled at the job, leaving nooses on his desk and probably writing nigga jokes on his locker and fucking with him. And that nigga came in there and handled business and got busy. He called upon the spirits of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Dirty Bookman, and Mackendall, Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser. He called upon all them niggas and was like, you know what, if I'm gonna go out with a bang. Praise be to Allah type shit. You feel me? But they never said he was mentally ill. They never let him use that. Oh, well, he's mentally ill. I'm reading this shit right now. Anthony Farrell, the Molson Coors electrician who fatally shot 5 co-workers and himself in February, had become increasingly paranoid in the 2 years before he opened fire at the former Miller Brewery in Milwaukee. According to the newly released police records, Farrell, who kept a large number of guns. See, they talk about the guns. They're not talking about how he was getting harassed and shit. One neighbor said he always carried 2 handguns, a semi-automatic. See? Just defame his character. Let's see. Farrell, 51 of Milwaukee, had worked at Molson Coors for 16 years. In addition to information about Farrell's mental state, 300 pages of records recently released by the Milwaukee Police Department shed light on his actions that day. On officers' initial conclusion that someone else was the shooter, and on employees' earlier complaints of racism, which were determined to be unrelated to the shooting. Stop. Oh yeah, and it just all happened to be white people? It was all white people that was fucking with him the whole time. Stop. I don't want to hear that shit. Then they want to say shooter exhibited years of strange behavior. Farrell's paranoia, and it stopped. See? So I'm telling you this so they can. That's why niggas gotta stop pushing this mental health shit, because they gonna use it to flip it on us. See, they got him out here. Oh, mentally, he was crazy. You know, it wasn't racially motivated. He was crazy. But then this shooter in Boulder, Colorado, oh, mental health. He suffers from mental health. Now, they ain't talking about he suffers from mental health. They talk about all the guns he owns. See, a nigga can't own no guns or nothing. You know how many Caucasians, dominant white society people I've been around, all they do is brag about the guns that they have? I mean, brag about the guns. They live in Las Vegas, Nevada, but won't go on the west side to save their life. But they'll brag about all the guns that they have, right? There's no mental health attached to any of that shit, but it's so funny how they'll flip it on our brother Anthony Farrell when he was being racially targeted and racially profiled and dealing with racial jokes and all this other shit that you can't find now, but it's on a podcast from like 2 years ago or a year ago when I did that about him and how they was fucking with him and putting nooses on his desk, just fucking with him, doing fucked up shit. So he came in there and he killed them all like OJ. And then motherfucker want to talk this, oh, well, he was crazy. No, nigga, he wasn't crazy. He knew what the fuck y'all was doing. So if he was crazy, now they gonna flip it and use it for the Boulder, Colorado shooter. Now they got him all in a wheelchair and shit. See how they flip that shit? That's why I don't go, look, when something is majorly out there and everybody's pushing it, you need to step back and say, why is everybody pushing this shit? And what is so important about this that everybody is pushing it and everybody is saying something? Look, no diss to my brothers and sisters that's like mental health. Look, let me tell you something. Y'all not white. Y'all not a part of the dominant society. You don't have time for no mental health. Mental health is getting out your frustrations with a fellow melanated brother or sister or any other racial group that is like-minded on the same page and trying to establish a system of justice. Meaning, any other racial group that's around you, if they're not trying to talk about something constructive that will better the system of justice and destroy and take down the system of racism and white supremacy, you don't need to be around them. Straight up. If they're not trying to establish a system of justice, then get the fuck away from them. And stop taking it personal. Well, man, they should be on. No, it ain't their job to be on your side. This is a native black, foundational black American problem. This is not every other racial group problem because they're going to show you that they problem and they don't give a fuck. So stop hoping and wishing and praying that everybody else is going to join in on the bullshit because they not. They're going to march, they're going to whine, they're going to repeat, and then after they do that, let me tell you what they're going to do. They're going to go home to the suburbs, where the fuck they live, and they not going to give a flying fuck about black families getting racial profiles, their kids getting stopped, harassed, getting their ass beat by the police. They don't give a fuck about that shit. So stop expecting them to, because that's not their job, man. Let me tell you what their job is. Their job is to maintain the system of racism and white supremacy. And don't you fucking forget it. Yeah, I'm gonna play some audio. I want to see this on CNN, and I'm dying to see.
It was a fairly brief.
I'm dying to see what they're gonna say. And I'm very interested because, you know, they flipping it, and that's why we need to stop going. In my personal opinion, we need to stop going whatever that narrative is that they are pushing. It's a lot of shit going on. Global warming is like a motherfucker. Something's not right. All these tornadoes and hail in the middle of March, and then you got motherfucking the snow in Texas. Stop. I don't want to hear that shit. So we're going to play this shit. I'm gonna play this audio and let's see what they say.
Fairly brief appearance. We did expect it to be lengthy. At least that's what the DA's office said, that they thought that it would be a lengthy proceedings, but it didn't go on for quite as long as we expected. As you saw in the video, the alleged gunman is in a wheelchair. He had suffered a bullet injury, a bullet wound to his leg during the shooting, so perhaps that's why he's in this wheelchair. He didn't say much. Notably, the defense attorneys.
You notice they making excuses for him, right? You notice they making excuses for him. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to even watch that because they're making excuses for him, and it's like sometimes you gotta stop making excuses for them. But you know why they're not gonna stop making excuses? Let me tell you why. Because he's a part of the dominant white society. Don't you forget it. He's a part of their system. And that's never going to change at all. And let me tell you something. Stop hoping and praying that one person will find it in their heart to change the system. Nobody's finding it in their heart. They're not giving the power back willingly. They've been in charge so long, they don't give a fuck about no niggas, man. So I don't care how many other racial groups of your friends, ask them about reparations. They gonna tell you how they really feel. Then they gonna get to talk about how their family came here with $1 in their pocket and they built their empire and they're not responsible for slavery. But you're a freeloader because you're here off the back of black labor. That's why you're here. So I don't want to hear that shit. For real.
But it didn't go on for quite as long as we expected. As you saw in the video, is in a wheelchair. He had suffered a bullet injury, a bullet wound to his leg.
Yeah, he suffered a bullet injury. Well, you're supposed to when you do a mass shooting.
Notably, the defense attorneys, they're already kind of indicating.
Where did he get the money for a defense attorney? Why doesn't he have a public defender? He doesn't have a public defender? Where did he get the money for that?
With the case, they need some more time to review his records and information about.
You see how look, they're not even making this guy to be a bad guy. And he just massacred. It was just like Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof went in that church and pretended like he was praying with them and then shot and killed all those motherfuckers. And then niggas talking about, let's forgive him. And then the police took him to Burger King before they took him to jail. But motherfuckers talking about, let's forgive him. I would like to see a dominant society person go in a Nation of Islam mosque and try that bullshit and see how far it gets you. See, they know where to do the bullshit at, because they not going to do it in the Nation of Islam. Go to Nation of Islam and do that shit and see what the fuck it get you. Matter of fact, just walk up on a Nation of Islam. Go walk up on an FOI and see how far it get, thinking you going to talk with him and smile with him before you think you about to pull out a gun. You about to get fucked up. That's why they went into a church with this kumbaya shit. And the reason why they did that is because they know what the fuck was going to happen.
Moving left to right, he missed the officer, so the district attorney here charging him with that attempted murder charge. And they also say that this case is going to take quite some time. Prosecutors saying they're still processing the crime scene. They're still gathering information. So
it don't take that long.
Take quite some time before we even see this go to trial. Also, some other information.
Basically, by the time we go to the trial, y'all gonna forget it happened.
Is that they're trying to determine why the shooter chose this grocery store specifically. It's some 30.
They wonder why he chose the grocery store instead of saying this guy committed a vile act.
Connection, and obviously they're talking to family members and other people who knew the gunman to try and get a picture leading up into the days of—
Oh, stop, man. I can't. You making up a whole bunch of excuses for a fucking murderer. That's because he's white. If it was a nigga, they'd be like, oh, he has a past. You notice they ain't mentioned nothing about his past. We don't know what's going on, just mental health now. Stop with the bullshit. I think what it is, a lot of the times, I think us people are deaf, dumb, and blind. And I really think in my heart that they feel like these niggas is so dumb. Let's just put anything out there because they'll go with it. Look at them. They're just happy to be around. And they built the country for us. Look at how we act when they come around. We start performing when they come around. Stop. Some of the shit you know what I mean? I don't understand it. Then you got people want to open up the border and play all these games, and it's like, man, I don't want to hear none of that shit. That's the shit that I'll be looking at. You know what I mean? It's just so much to process because, like I said, I'm still learning, as Nelly Fuller Jr. says. We got to get on code first. That's first. Second of all, you have to be mindful of these white supremacists. They're very, very clever. The dominant white society they're geniuses at what they do. They've been practicing it so long, they got it down to a science. So they know they practice 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 moves ahead of you. That's why they so good that's why they mad that a lot of that shit that they do now, it doesn't really work on black folk, because black folk are reading and educating themselves. That's why, especially black foundational Americans. Foundational black Americans are educating themselves. That's why you can't get me riled up and get me all upset and all that. I know how to keep my composure and just be like, okay, all right. I learned. You know, every day's a school day. There are things that are irritating and you have to let people know at the court plantation. But for the most part, you can't rattle me really, because I'm just kind of go into a peace and tranquility in a Zen mode. And I become very introverted because I know to maintain who you are, you have to keep your composure. And you have to understand this system is constantly evolving and it's working. People that you think are going to value you and value who you are as a slave employee at the court plantation, they don't value you. They just want you to do that job. And matter of fact, kill yourself doing it. And then when you realize you done damn near sacrificed and prostituted your integrity and everything for them, they gonna look at you like, well, what did you think was gonna happen? So why you doing this shit thinking that you gonna get $3 for your yearly raise and all this other shit, nigga, when they give your ass 35 cents? Don't be walking around with the rest of these niggas talking shit about niggas. Cause I don't want to hear that shit. Like, why you say that, Warren? Because it's the truth. Niggas are only want to be a team when individually they can't get shit, which is replicating the behavior of the dominant society. Because you're supposed to be team first, then individual second. But most niggas, and I get it because we've been around them so long, is individual first, team second. And then when you can't get nothing individually, then you want to come around talking shit about, oh man, motherfucking crackers and the white man and all this other shit. And I be looking at niggas like, well, this is where you have to tell motherfucker, well, what were you doing when you had the chance to handle business? Like I said, I told a story. I remember a motherfucking I worked with a sister who was going hard in the paint, acting like the cop. She was acting like, tell about the gun line boss for them dominant society people. Then they turn around and fired her black ass. And then motherfucker want to come smiling with me and everybody. Everybody was looking at her like, don't smile with me, bitch. You was sitting up there doing the devil's work. Now that they fucking flip motors the squad on you, now you want to come, nah, man, get the fuck away from me. And I meant that shit. Fuck that. Don't do the devil's work, then come around talking about, man, you know, the white man, stop. That's another thing too. If you have ways where you feel like what you're doing is justified, just reevaluate them. Reevaluate what they are. Man, I done done some sucker shit. I'm not finna sit up here and be like, man, I done more than done a lot of sucker shit at the Court Plantation, thinking it was gonna get me somewhere when I was younger, before I came into knowledge of who I am. I'm still coming into knowledge of who I am. You like, what do you mean that, Warren? Hey, every day is a school day, and I'm still learning. So I remember when I came into a little bit of knowledge of who I was like, okay, what I did was some sucker shit. And you like, what do you mean? It was some sucker shit. I did a lot of sucker shit. And then once I realized it was sucker shit, I didn't fuck with it no more. You know, you couldn't convince. You know, just odds and ends. Sometimes you don't even think you doing sucker shit, and you are. And you like, what do you mean, man? You could do sucker shit like, well, where's John Tavius at? Oh man, he outside. That's sucker shit too. You're supposed to say, I have no idea where he is. When's the last time you saw him? You see, you gotta do that Nilly Fuller Jr. shit. Always hit him with a question. Where's Starkeisha at? I don't know. When's the last time you saw her? You know what I mean? You always gotta do that. Well, I started talking to her. Yeah, but that was a while ago. When was the last time you saw her? What do you need me to do? Do you want me to go look for her? Always hit him up with a question. For real. I'll tell you this, man. These are just things that we got to learn, and we got to understand what it is and what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's out there. Shout out to my niggas Dom Easy, my niggas Nick. Shout out to everybody. Hey, what's up, Tasha? I see you. Shout out to Shawnee, Tasha, all y'all out there, man. I know y'all at the Court Plantation. That shit is not fun. Hey, I'm going to ask you a question. I can't stand a motherfucker that be acting like they treat you like you shot the sheriff because you mad that you got to be at the Court Plantation. Like, man, what you mad for? Nigga, because I don't want to be here. Like, what the fuck, nigga? You think I woke up this morning like, oh, I'm so happy to be here. No, nigga, I'm not happy to be here. Nigga, I could be thinking of 1,000 things I could be doing right now besides being here, fake smiling with everybody, pretending like I want to be at this motherfucker. Stop with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And my suggestion to everybody is look at how they play this mental health shit. So stop going along with Okie doke. When a motherfucker starts saying that mental health shit, just open up your eyes and be like, all right, here we go with this shit. I'm not saying that people don't suffer from mental health, but always take stock and inventory of this. When the dominant society is behind something and pushing something, they're pushing a narrative. They're pushing an agenda. So don't think that they pushing it for you. Trust and believe you me. It's just like how they got all these black folk, they racial showcase, and they showing all these black folk telling niggas to go get the shot, and oh man, I'm gonna go take the shot and all this other shit. And it's like, well, have you done the research and what they giving you? Did you read medical apartheid and what these dominant white society people are capable of doing? Man, what's going on, Screwhead? I remember something about not smiling at work, and they pulled you over and asked you all this stuff. Oh yeah. That really happened. And I have several witnesses that could attest to that shit. Now, I'm not lying about that shit. Screwhead, that's some real shit, nigga. I remember I did it. You know what? And I challenged myself. I was like, I want to see how long I can do it. I just want to see how long I can be introverted, go to work, and separate. Because, you know, us as black folk, they have socialized us and socially engineered us that we have to be the top worker at work all day, every day. We got to outwork everybody. We got to do more than needs to be done. We got to prostitute our integrity. We got to step on everybody's neck. We got to act like other people don't exist just so we can get that little bit of money that ain't even worth it. We got to neglect our families, neglect our personal lives. You don't even have a life. That's what they want you to do. That's how they got you first. Because they give you the Hansel and Gretel crumbs first. Then when they get you on that shit, then it goes to the next thing. So then after the Hansel and Gretel crumbs, then you like, I want more. Feed me, see more type shit. So then you get more. So then you think it's going to be a big bread crumb around the corner. And then once you realize it wasn't even worth it, you like, damn, I did all that. And you don't, sometimes you can't even realize how much time you wasted trying to appease them and be all you can never be in the dominant white society. So stop with the bullshit. And yeah, I did it for like 2 years. I didn't say shit. I just walked in there very introverted. Earphones on, not saying shit to nobody, listening to my music, coming up with new and inventive ideas for my intellectual property, for me. Shit. Watching the Dame Dash motherfucking podcast on the Breakfast Club. I watched that over and over again because he was saying some real shit. And then I kind of got myself in that mental mind frame, and I did it for a long time. It really, I've never seen it bother people so much in my life because I just wouldn't smile. I wouldn't say shit to nobody. I'm kind of lightweight still like that though. I might smile a little bit with people I fuck with, but if I don't fuck with you, I'm gonna look right through you like you don't even exist. And I don't give a fuck how uncomfortable you are. It's not my job to make you comfortable. It's my job to do my job. That's what the policy and procedure says. And that's why I'm quick to be like, could you tell me where I could find this in the policy? See, you gotta nearly fuller their asses, man. See, you gotta use that shit. You gotta use that knowledge back at their ass. Well, what do you want me to do? Well, can you find me that policy so I can know, make sure I'm doing what I need to do correctly? You do that, then they'll leave you the fuck alone, man. But I'm telling y'all right now, man, this shit is not gonna stop. It's a global system. Stop going along with the chicken shit mental health, because you see what they did. I just gave you an example. Of a brother that was getting racially harassed at work. And the brother's name was Anthony Farrell. Go look him up. Anthony Farrell. I did a podcast on him about a year ago or so out of Milwaukee. And he was working at the Molson Coors. And they was fucking with him and racially harassing him, which they will not talk about in any goddamn article. And then he got tired of the shit. And he possessed the spirit of Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Mackendall and Dirty Bookman and was like, fuck all y'all. I'm out of here and y'all going with me. And look at what happened. Now they trying to bring up his guns and all this other shit. You notice that shit? But this is my thing about this whole United States of America Incorporated. The dominant society has been the most vile, violent, vicious, undermining, backbiting, deceitful, treacherous, backbiting motherfucker I've ever seen and read in history ever in this United States of America Incorporated. They lied, they're deceitful, they sow discord, they lie, they two-faced, they play one against the other. They seek and destroy unity. If it's unity, they blow it up. Look what they did to the Black Panthers. You got COINTELPRO. Go read this book right here. I'm going to tell you right now. Go read this book, The Burglary. You read this book, The Burglary, it's going to tell you all you need to know about COINTELPRO and all the bullshit that J. Edgar Hoover was doing. And this was the man that was the FBI director for 40 years. Now, how you get a chance to be the FBI director for 40 years and you was as crooked as they come? But you want me to believe in the FBI and the CIA and the NSA? Man, stop. I don't believe in none of that shit. Anything that is not the narrative and authorship of a foundational Black American, why would I believe in that? We believe in enough as it is that doesn't work out for us. We believe in this monetary system that is not meant for us, meant for the dominant society. That's who controls it. That's why they dominate nine areas of people activity. Come on, man. We got to start doing our reading, our researching, and stop going with the bullshit. Just saw the video of the U-Haul pullover. They train the dogs to act like they smell something. Exactly. That's why I didn't even really go into. First of all, the way he pulled him over and all that and asked him all these questions, that brother would have been better off just been like, look, just take me to jail. Because I just fight this in court. Just take me to jail. There's no need for us to speak. I have my right to remain silent. So I'm just going to remain silent. And then after you stop talking, they'll just arrest you. Just arrest me. And don't say anything else. We got to stop engaging with these people. Don't give them more information than they need. But I get it, because we get nervous and you see all these killings, with Philando and Mike Brown and Alton Sterling and Walter Scott and Freddie Gray and Oscar Grant you see, you see all these killings, and it does something to you. So you do become, I would say, more agitated and nervous about situations. But I think what we need to do as human beings, first, and foundational Black Americans, second, research, study, read, get around other people that's reading. If you ain't doing nothing but reading 20 minutes out your day, that's better than not reading at all. Stop letting motherfuckers shame you. As long as you read stuff that is about teaching you where we come from. Whether it's about slavery, where it's about, read something. You got read the book Slavery by Another Name by Douglas Blackman. Very, very good book. That's where I got guilty, nigga. They was saying that shit left and right in there. That's where I got that shit from. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to remember, a black man has no rights a white man is bound to respect. Don't forget that shit. And there's a lot of niggas, and let me say something to my niggas too. There's a lot of niggas suffering from meritorious manumission, just doing shit for white folk, at the detriment of black people. Stepping all on niggas' heads, fighting with each other, putting each other's business out there. Stop doing that shit in front of, if you at the court plantation doing that shit, you are Stephen from Django. Don't be putting niggas' business out there in front of the dominant society. The shit is not fun. It is not being on code. It's being off code, and then you're becoming an individual. There's a lot of black folk that Warren ain't necessarily got along with at the court plantation. But I'm not going to air out their dirty laundry and put they out there and put them. They can do that to me, but I don't care because I don't go to work telling all my personal business. But I'm not going to air out their dirty laundry because that's going against code. And that's what the dominant society wants. They want bickering, discord. They want confusion. The white supremacists are the masters of confusion. In every other racial group, they replicate that behavior. That's why it's so quick and easy for them to come and divide and conquer amongst native black folk and foundational black Americans. That's why they'll put, I hate to say it, that's why they got Cynthia Erivo playing Aretha Franklin. Now, I could have swore Aretha Franklin said she wanted Jennifer Hudson playing her, but y'all gonna go get Cynthia Erivo because that's what they do. No diss, I like Black Judas and the Black Messiah. Very good movie. Very good, very good. Very hard to watch, man. It was super hard to watch. Super hard to watch. And Daniel Kaluuya, he was a very good actor, but y'all couldn't have found no foundational black American to play a foundational black American? They don't call us when we playing an English motherfucker. So I don't understand that. That's what I don't understand. Do you understand? Like, it's just certain things. And then you got a lot of people that come over here from other countries and they shit on black folk, and that ain't cool. And you got to call that shit out. And see, what happens is a motherfucker will claim their nationality before they claim black when they get around the dominant society. What you mean, Warren? Go watch The Breakfast Club and see how many black folk will quickly be like, well, I'm Nigerian. Us Nigerians, we smart. You're like, wait, okay, well, you black. Yeah, but we are, they quick to separate, because in Nigerian home, it's like, but then when the white folk get tired of they nigga Nigerian ass, then they want to talk about we black, stop the violence type shit. So it's like, we got to get out of that too, from my personal perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because we quick to mention our nationality. Every other racial group does that. They're very good at that. And the white supremacists love it because it's so much chaos and confusion. It's order out of chaos. Y'all need to understand the dominant society knows exactly what they're doing, and they know exactly where they want us to go, and they know exactly what system they're trying to usher us into. That's why they got to the point where you can't say shit about nothing. Look. I read an article about a white man walked in a girl's bathroom. They said, hey man, what you doing in here? He said, I identify as a woman. Well, then if that's the case, then I'm finna go to the strip club and go in the stripper's bathroom and be like, I identify as a woman. So y'all can't do nothing to me. So this ain't no sexual misconduct or nothing because I identify as a woman. Stop. Stop it. Y'all need to understand this. This is some new world order bullshit that they pushing. That's why they just ushering niggas into a system. And if you speak out against it and you be oppositional or contrarian to the shit, then that nigga be mad at you. They have all the niggas. See, the white supremacists are so intelligent. The dominant society is so intelligent at what they do. They got niggas doing their dirty work. They got agent provocateurs doing their dirty work. Just like the nigga gonna write a confession talking about, oh, he was complicit in the murder of Malcolm X. Well, nigga, he's been dead I don't know how many years. Why the fuck did you say that when you let all those Nation of Islam brothers go to jail for nothing? Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Stop. Just like Reverend Al Sharpton was like, I didn't know I was working with the police. They just said I was, cooperating. Yeah, you're a CI. You're a cooperating informant. You're a collaborative informant. What the fuck you mean, man? You're working for the FBI. That's why Reverend Al Sharpton is on TV. Motherfuckers be thinking that they don't place those. They place those people in front of you to distract you. You better fucking wake the fuck up. But anyway, man, I went over my time anyway, man. I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. Hey, man, go check out some of those podcasts. Some of them, hey, man, I want you to read, research, and come into the own knowledge of who you are and have your own discernment and challenge me. Warren always talking this shit about these books. I'm going to see what the fuck he's saying is true. Cool. I want it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Maybe my memory is fucked up. Cool. But I still want you to read. Reading is not just fundamental. It's detrimental when we don't read. Because foundational Black Americans, we got to start knowing our history. That's why I'm reading A Pound of Flesh. I'm getting all kinds of books about slavery and things like that because I need to be enriched in it. Before I go do the history in Africa, I got to do the history here too. Because I want to know exactly how deep is the rabbit hole. See, I'm not Cypher. I'm not talking about, I don't have the codes, but I know somebody who has the codes. I don't want to remember anything. I want to be rich. I know this steak isn't real, but my mind is telling me it's real. That's most niggas in the system of racism, white supremacy. We are prisoners of war, and don't think that you're nothing else but that. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody out there listening, subscribing. Hey, man, I'm going to probably holler at y'all this weekend sometime. Hey, man, if you ain't handling business, you up there talking about, man, what about black on black crime? You a Sambo coon telling about the gun line, Hayward Shepherd, Steve from Jago ass nigga. Guilty, nigga. I'm out. Peace.